Tonight on NewsWatch, a country on the brink of civil war. More on what's being done to stop pro-Russian protests in Ukraine. Plus, Al Qaeda on the move. Our terrorism analyst looks at the latest threats from the extremist group. And why some say new revenue from marijuana sales isn't worth the money. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. And good evening, everyone. I'm George Thomas. Is Ukraine slipping closer to civil war? Government troops are massing outside of the eastern town of Slavyansk. They're preparing to put an end to violent demonstrations by pro-Russian protesters. Meanwhile, Russia is ramping up its own threats of intervention. Caitlin Burke reports.
Confusion and chaos in eastern Ukraine. Pro-Russian militants seized 6 armored vehicles Wednesday, parading them through Slavyansk, a town controlled by the insurgents. It's unclear whether the government soldiers driving the vehicles had defected or if they were captured. The Ukrainian military had been deployed to the region Tuesday for what's being called a large-scale anti-terrorist operation, a move applauded by the White House.
The Ukrainian government has the responsibility to provide law and order. And these provocations in eastern Ukraine are creating a situation in which the government has to respond.
The Obama administration is working on an aid package for Ukraine. It could include medical supplies and clothing, but would stop short of providing weapons or ammunition. Meanwhile, Russia is warning Ukraine to proceed with caution. President Vladimir Putin says a bloody crackdown on protesters would start a civil war and result in Russian intervention. Eastern Ukraine was the support base for ousted President Viktor Yanukovych. Its population is largely Russian-speaking, and they support strengthening ties with Russia. Ukraine and the West blame Russia for using its influence in the area to spark the ongoing unrest.
Russia has a new export. Aside from oil and gas, Russia is now exporting terrorism to Ukraine.
The escalating tension between Russia and Ukraine has NATO bolstering its forces in Eastern Europe, preparing for what could soon become an all-out war. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Thanks, Caitlin. A new video shows what looks like the largest gathering of Al Qaeda in years. The video includes the terrorist group's second-in-command saying he wants to attack the United States. According to CNN, the footage shows the number 2 leader, Nasser al-Wahashi, meeting with fighters and commanders in Yemen. Al-Wahashi also held Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. The video recently appeared on jihadist websites, drawing the attention of U.S. and global terrorism experts. U.S. officials say they believe the footage is authentic. For more, we turn to our terrorism analyst, Eric Stakelbeck. He joins us now from our Washington, D.C. bureau. Eric, you have reported for years that Yemen could become a hotbed for Al Qaeda. Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, absolutely, George. I think the interesting point here is that Al Qaeda has branched out. You and I have talked about this on NewsWatch in the past, George. They've branched out from that Pakistan home base to places like Yemen, Somalia, Libya. Al Qaeda is spreading its tentacles globally, and Yemen has become a real hotspot for the group, George, because attacks against America, plots against America, more and more are being hatched out of Yemen. Very insignificant country in the grand scheme of things, George. Dirt poor country, desert, mountainous country. But the underwear bomber, Christmas Day 2009, plotted in Yemen. Other attacks on U.S. soil plotted in Yemen over the past few years. So this is increasingly becoming a hot spot that's a big concern to U.S. officials.
We'll talk about their influence in the United States, but let's talk about the Middle East. What are their goals for the Middle East?
Well, for the Middle East, Al Qaeda's goal is really the goal of every radical Islamic group, George. They want the Middle East to be under the rule of Islamic Sharia law, radical Islamic rule. That means no place for Jews, no place for Christians. And an interesting point with this new videotape, George, it gives you an idea of Al Qaeda's goals. In this videotape, Al Qaeda's number 2, Nasser al-Wahashi, he's Al Qaeda's number 2 globally, a big fish. He says in this video, our goal is to destroy the cross. And the United States, he says, is the bearer of the cross, so the U.S. must be destroyed. The cross, George, Christianity. Al Qaeda has a bullseye on the back of every single Christian in the Middle East and around the world.
What is being done to stop them, Eric?
Well, number one, you're talking about Yemen, George. You have these drone missile strikes, right, from the U.S. These Predator drones over the past few years have killed many Al Qaeda leaders in Pakistan, in Yemen, even in Somalia. So you have the drone effect on one hand. And also, look, intelligence, obviously, we're monitoring conversations, online chats, phone calls of Al Qaeda operatives around the world. So it's surprising to me, quite frankly, George, it's such a large gathering of Al Qaeda leaders, at least 100 guys meeting out in the air, out in the open air in Yemen. Very surprising to me, or it would be surprising if U.S. intelligence didn't know about this meeting. The big question is now, okay, we had the meeting. In this meeting, Al Qaeda made their goals clear, strike America. So now what are we going to do about it?
And do you see, real quickly, do you see a large-scale attack like 9/11 here in the United States, or more smaller freelance type attacks?
I think it's the latter, George. I think absolutely they're planning things on a grander scale than 9/11. That's what they want. But can they do it right now? Do they have the capabilities? Not quite clear. What's more likely is more things like Fort Hood, the underwear bomber, Times Square bombers, small scale, inexpensive, low tech, and one lone wolf can carry them out. That's the more likely strategy for now. Okay, Eric, as always, sir, thank you so much for your insights. And by the way, you can hear more about Eric. Sure to check out his weekly show, the blog, The Watchman. You can find it both at our website, cbnnews.com. The Islamic extremist group Boko Haram is being blamed for a mass kidnapping in Nigeria. About 100 girls were taken from a school in the northwestern part of the country. Gunmen killed 2 people guarding the school and abducted the teenage girls just after midnight. Reports indicate the girls are being used as cooks and sex slaves. The kidnapping comes a day after suspected Boko Haram militants bombed a bus station, killing 75. The search is on to find survivors after a ferry sank off the coast of South Korea. 4 people are dead and nearly 300 are still missing. More than 100 vessels and aircraft are helping in the search. The ferry had been carrying more than 450 people when it sank, most of them high school students on an overnight trip. Rescue divers searching inside the ship's compartment still haven't found any bodies or survivors.
As of now, we don't have any minute or second to waste. We have to use all our energy to rescue more lives. Therefore, I ask every leader of each department to stay on the scene and conduct their team and do their best to fulfill their responsibility.
Well, the large amount of unaccounted people is raising fears the number of those killed will rise dramatically. A big scare at the site of the Boston Marathon yesterday, exactly 1 year after the terror attack rocked that city. Police found 2 abandoned backpacks near the finish line, near the place 2 bombs exploded last year. Police evacuated the area and a bomb squad destroyed the bags, one of which contained a rice cooker. Police arrested the bag's owner, Kevin Edson. He's facing charges of possession of a hoax device, disturbing the peace, and disorderly conduct. It's mid-April, but winter weather, well, it's still sticking around. Areas across the country are seeing snow, along with some seriously cold temperatures and strong winds. Dale Hood reports.
Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that one of the worst winters in memory returned for an encore. This 750-foot cargo ship lies beached this morning in Virginia's Chesapeake Bay after 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts pulled it off its anchor overnight. The same system brought snow to New York City and other parts of the Northeast overnight, dropping temperatures by as much as 40 degrees and bringing back the white powder that so many did not want to see again.
We don't want to hear that 4-letter word that starts with an S.
Detroit shattered a 133-year-old snowfall record. The Buffalo area, 78 degrees a few days ago, found itself preparing for several inches of snow.
We'll probably be out plowing later tonight.
In parts of the South, snow is falling on flowers already in bloom, and temperatures are hovering near freezing, and that's a threat to crops.
Pretty much their most vulnerable time.
Farmers were out trying to protect their livelihoods.
But if we start dropping below 30, we're entering an extremely dangerous zone.
Fierce winds also created damage. In Georgia, a tree split a house in 2, trapping 2 women inside.
I come out of the house and immediately heard the screams.
And damaging high winds near Philadelphia.
I thought it was tornado, so I went back down to the basement.
And flooding from Michigan to New York to Vermont and states in between. World leaders, including President Obama, continue to blame the record-setting winter weather on global warming. But the U.S. has seen this kind of weather before, 200 years ago, during a period called Little Ice Age. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Coming up, we'll take you to one of the most hostile mission fields right here in America to see how some folks are spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Yeah! Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
I have a son who's extremely smart and sensitive. He went to heaven. I came back.
One true story has become a worldwide sensation.
You saw heaven? It's beautiful.
Now, Heaven is for Real is a profoundly beautiful movie.
They don't believe me, do they?
Some people might be afraid to believe.
That will help many to believe.
Is heaven a hope or as real as the earth and sky?
A perfect family film. Heaven is for Real. Rated PG.
I was having some pains between my shoulder blades. At that point, everything changed. Diagnosis, pancreatic cancer. First, there was prayer. The second is to fight. As soon as we walked through those doors at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, all my anxiety left. The pastoral care here is based on the Bible, based on the Word of God, just as it is at our own church.
When you combine the great medicine with the spiritual resources we have, it provides the patients with something that really can make a difference.
You got a pastor right there on staff praying with patients, whether it be scripture or whether it just be a word of encouragement to say, God's got this.
If you or someone you love is fighting complex or advanced stage cancer, go to cancercenter.com/faith. You'll learn how our treatment results compare to national averages and see a list of insurance plans with which we've worked. Advanced medicine and technology, the warm embrace of the Spirit.
I firmly believe God led me here.
Call or go to cancercenter.com. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits. Appointments available now.
I have a son who's extremely smart and sensitive. He went to heaven. I came back.
One true story has become a worldwide sensation.
You saw heaven? It's beautiful.
Now, Heaven is for Real is a profoundly beautiful movie.
They don't believe me, do they?
Some people might be afraid to believe.
That will help many to believe.
Is heaven a hope or as real as the earth and sky?
A perfect family film. Heaven is for Real. Rated PG.
Nationwide attention is on Boston this week, but one thing few people know about this city, it's a place where only 3% of the population know Jesus. In fact, the entire New England area is the least evangelized part of the country. But as Paul Strand reports, all that's changing thanks to a new breed of Christians.
Christians from the South and other areas have poured into Boston for decades, trying to make Christianity popular again. It's not easy with only 11% evangelical as compared to more than 50% in the South. Boston-based Pastor Joe Souza travels the country urging Christians to come help turn that faithlessness around. Souza says it's a desperate need because only 3% of people in the greater Boston area know Jesus as their personal Savior. But Bostonians don't always trust outsiders who come to plant churches.
One of the guys who we're trying to rent a home from said to my wife, well, what does your husband do? And she said, oh, we're coming out here to start a church. He said, well, why are you coming out here to start a church? What do you think, we're all heathens?
The thing is, people, whether it's here in Boston or anywhere really, don't like to feel they're just some project for a fly-by-night operation that's going to be gone soon and isn't really dedicated to them and their city. So few Bostonians attended these new churches, and they closed by the hundreds.
We were having an 87% failure rate.
But now there's a new generation turning that around. They bring an attitude to go all in, join their communities, and become good neighbors and friends.
Ministry happens at a Dunkin' Donuts or at a Starbucks, is you're able to just be real with people.
Bo Ellis is a Southern transplant running the Boston Church Planting website with Souza, a high-tech way for this new generation to reach the lost and connect with each other. Ellis says Christians coming here must speak by serving, not preaching. So the new guys volunteer a lot.
Like as a high school football coach or a basketball coach, because in getting into the neighborhood and into the community is the only way you're going to earn the right to speak Christ into somebody's life up here.
A top example, the Tunings, transplanted from North Carolina just 3 years ago. As they moved to the Boston suburb of Beverly, they decided not to think of themselves as short-term missionaries.
Matt's approach from the beginning was to say, I'm planting my life in Beverly, Massachusetts.
They concentrated on people, not church building.
Because I don't necessarily look at my relationship with these people as somebody who's trying to minister to them all the time, but rather I'm just a neighbor who loves Jesus. I mean, we've had the opportunity, I probably baptized 4 or 5 of my neighbors that live in the same house that I live in.
This approach led to tremendous results, with as many as 700 people regularly attending their church.
Our heart was to be here for the long run.
Members appreciate Matt and Beth's decision to make this their home.
A lot of people have said to us, well, when are you leaving? And we're like, well, we're not leaving. And they're like shocked by that we're here to stay.
This is his home now, and he loves these people, and that's important to the people that are here.
And it's not something where he has a home base or a headquarters that he's going to go back to. And it's cool because he lives within the community. He's not here as sort of like, I'm delivering something that you need, and then I'm taking off.
3 new neighbors in the Tunings triplex recently attended Matt and Beth's church without even being invited.
But we've made ourselves accessible to them and loved them and cared for them and interacted with them in such a way that makes Christianity look appealing, because I'm not a guy that's moving from a faraway area coming in here to save you.
This kind of all for your community, all for your neighbors effort by the new generation of church planners has completely turned around that dismal 87% failure rate.
So for the past 5 years, we have close to 100% success rate.
Yet all these church planners agree more sowers are needed in this field.
More people who passionately love Jesus should come and plant their lives in New England.
It can be hard to sense the presence of God in a big, cold urban area. Hard to even believe he's real. That's why he needs his people to come to such places and through their love, prove that he's real and bring his presence. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Boston.
Up next, the war over weed. Why some say legalization could hurt American kids.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you are on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. Call the Health Hotline right now for details toll-free. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to receive these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Call right now for details toll-free.
Operators are standing by. Call 855-740-8143. That's 855-740-8143. Again, 855-740-8143. That's 855-740-8143.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need, just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Casual marijuana use could harm your brain. That's the finding of a new study from Northwestern University. Researchers say when young adults smoke pot just once or twice a week, abnormalities form in 2 brain structures. Their study looks at 18 to 25-year-olds. Using MRIs, researchers monitored 2 key parts of of the brain regions responsible for processing emotions, making decisions, and motivation both became abnormal among casual pot smokers. And the more often people smoked, the worse the abnormalities became. Even so, at least 15 states are thinking about legalizing weed. That's because they hope the sales from pot will bring in more tax money. But as Heather Sells explains in tonight's Focus Report, some say the revenue isn't worth the risk.
Colorado merchants began selling marijuana for recreational use on January 1st. And already the variety of new merchandise is mind-blowing.
There's a lot of products.
From plant varieties, each with its own smell and unique characteristics, to trendy vaporizers, drinks, and don't forget the food. Swedish fish, sweet and sours, and so-called oatmeal sandwiches, just to name a few.
In many ways, Colorado is still in the honeymoon phase of marijuana legalization. People here are caught up in the excitement of new products and new growth. And the governor is looking forward to more than $90 million in new tax revenue this year, all from marijuana.
But many health and youth advocates say not so fast. After working in tobacco education for years, Bob Doyle now speaks out against marijuana.
We know what's coming. And this is really, if we don't stop it, this is the birth of the next tobacco industry. It's going to be like every other drug, where the societal costs are much bigger than what any community is going to make on this.
Costs like treating marijuana addiction. Specialists say they're inundated with requests, and student use is quickly rising, thanks to the legalization of medical marijuana. Twice as many Denver 8th graders use pot than other 8th graders across the country, and almost 1/3 of Denver high school seniors consume the drug.
Legalizing it creates more promotion, creates greater access to the drug, and also legitimizes the drug.
One of the products Doyle is most concerned about, this sleek-looking vaporizer.
Rolling Stone magazine called them the iPod of getting baked.
It's also a concealer, in many cases looking just like an e-cigarette. Youth advocates say marijuana edibles pose another danger, attracting young people by marketing a wholesome, healthy image. Joe McGuire works at a Colorado Springs drug testing company and finds many kids are simply not concerned about pot.
They say, it's good for us, it's a medicine, it's healthy.
Parents, she says, often contribute to this false sense of security, not realizing that today's marijuana is much more potent than the drug of their day.
One time I heard a dad say, well, I mean, they're just gonna like sleep all the time and have munchies, like what's the big deal? Well, we're seeing withdrawal signs of anger and rage and real withdrawal when they can't have their product.
I think the schools are very concerned about students, coming to school under the influence.
Chris Harms of the State School Safety Resource Center hopes parents will teach their children about the dangers of pot. She also has a message for other states that envy Colorado's seeming financial windfall.
People may see the tax money that's being generated, but not thinking about all the other hidden costs of marijuana. I mean, we don't know, for instance, how many more substance abuse treatment facilities we're going to need.
Legalization supporters say they also believe in educating kids about the dangers of marijuana. But they argue that legalization is the best way to limit their access. CBN News interviewed Mason Tvert last year before he became a national spokesman for the Marijuana Policy Project.
We know that alcohol prohibition failed and caused more problems than it solved. So we're in the similar situation with marijuana, where we need to do everything we can to keep marijuana away from young people, and that includes regulating it and controlling it and taxing it.
It will be years before the smoke clears and we understand the full effect of legalization. Financial experts say taxes will fluctuate as other states join Colorado and the marketplace experiments with pricing, products, and developing efficiencies. On the downside, questions remain on how much addiction rates will grow, what it will mean for education, and creating a competitive workforce. In the meantime, McGuire is beefing up her staff after a recent spike in positive tests. And Doyle will continue to educate in the hopes of preventing the downward spirals he's already seen.
I can't tell you how many times I've had, the mother or father who come up to me and say, I had the good student, the good athlete, and they've been smoking marijuana and it's no longer. Their motivation is gone, their academics have gone down, their athletics have gone away, and it's horrifying.
Reporting in Denver, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, Easter egg hunting with a twist. Why this event may just be a little noisier than most.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you're on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. Call the Health Hotline right now for details toll-free. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to receive these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Call right now for details toll-free.
Operators are standing by. Call 855-740-8143. That's 855-740-8143. Again, 855-740-8143. That's 855-740-8143.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
And finally tonight, new technology is allowing a special group of kids the opportunity to take part in an Easter egg hunt. Visually impaired children don't often get the chance to participate in the seasonal favorite, but a Texas bomb squad wanted to change that. They put together a beeping Easter egg. The loud noise directs the kids during the search.
1, 2, 3 eggs. We got so much fun finding the eggs without the beeping because my mom and my dad need to help me, or my sister.
Now that they have the beeping eggs, it's quite interesting and nice for her to be able to interact and participate with everybody.
Usually everything that we do, we're 300 yards away from everybody, so it's nice to actually get to work with the kids and see the smiles. It's wonderful.
What a terrific idea. Organizers of the special Easter egg hunt gave family members and volunteers a chance to participate too. They just had to search for the eggs blindfolded. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. We hope you will join us again next time. Good night, everyone.